We're going to discuss the topics that matter to you: race, single parenting, domestic violence, education, and now, TheHagirShow.
Hello and welcome to the TheHagirShow. I am your host, Hagir. As you can see, we are here from a different location. We are not in our normal studio or our normal time. We have a very special and unique person with us today. Please help me welcome Lori. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us who you are?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Lori Livingston. I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I don't live here anymore, but this is my hometown, so it's good to be home.
Well, welcome home, welcome home. And let's welcome Dr. Fred Waters. And can you introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are?
I'm Dr. Fred Waters. I'm a martial arts instructor, working with Hagir on the show, and just having fun with my friend Lori.
All right, welcome both of you. You are originally from Harrisburg, like you said.
Yes.
So can you tell us how did you get into modeling and acting, first of all, before we get into deep things?
Well, where do I start? I mean, it really just kind of happened as I was Miss Harrisburg back in 1997.
Wow.
And I just kind of stumbled on something. It really wasn't very popular. It was just kind of something that they did here locally in Harrisburg. And I ended up winning, which makes a lot of sense because we are the capital of Pennsylvania. So from there, I really just kind of stumbled into my acting career and modeling career, just kind of jumping into like different agencies locally. The Mary Bowman Agency, which is still around, I imagine. She's in Lancaster. And she gave me a chance, and literally it just kind of kept snowballing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And actually, it's an honor to be sitting here because Fred and I, we're actually good friends because we got started together here in Harrisburg as well, doing movies.
Yes.
And I remember he was doing stunts, and now here I'm in Hollywood and I do stunts.
Wow.
I'm a stunt woman now in Hollywood, you know, so this is actually coming full circle in so many ways. This is like incredible, you know, to have this opportunity, so thank you.
And it is incredible for us to have you back, and we can call you from our hometown.
Yes.
We're proud of you and everything you're doing, and Fred actually spoke highly of you.
Yeah, this is my buddy. He kept me
throughout this whole time. So in our first show, and I'm sorry that I'm just going to jump right in our very first episodes of our show, we did cover human trafficking, which includes human sex trafficking as a major part of it. And it was a shock for me to know that here in Harrisburg we have a huge issue, and in Pennsylvania because of our location, and for me to know that it is an issue in the United States, not just worldwide, it's a huge eye-opener for me. So would you like to talk about your experience with this? And
absolutely. This sex trafficking is now literally in every single state. Like there's no state in this country specifically that is unscathed, like literally. I know one of the major hubs, and I did all my research, so one of the hubs is definitely Detroit, Michigan, New York City, Florida, and Texas, Houston, Texas, to be very specific. It's huge out in Los Angeles, so I'm actually working with people out there to do the same thing. I just had a speaking engagement today at my alma mater, Milton Hershey School, and was able to speak to the girls and teach them. But basically what ended up happening to me, I went to Paris, France as a professional model, and I went there, and when I got there, literally I was sold by a French girl that was my translator. She was just meant to be more of like someone to help me. And that's kind of one of the key things I definitely want to emphasize to people, because I think we as women, and not just women, but fathers are taught, everyone's taught to keep an eye out for the creepy guy. You know, don't talk to strangers. But when we say don't talk to strangers, we're pretty much talking about men. And we never teach people, our daughters, we never teach our mothers, our sisters, we never teach them to look out for women too. And that's usually what's happening, because the creepy guy knows he's creepy. He knows he's weird. He knows you're not going to trust me. He knows chances are he's going to have to, you know, maneuver his way in there. You know, he's got to be really, you know, talk fast, like, you know, to be able to get in there. But if you use a woman, a beautiful woman, on top of that, your guard's down instantly. Think about that, right? Your guard's down. Or if you use a compassionate woman, like a motherly type, your guard's way down. Like, you're not thinking, I need to protect myself. And that's how people are getting nailed every single time. So in the case of me, that's precisely what happened. It was a friend. If you saw the picture of the girl, you would not believe that this was actually someone that was a threat. She's beautiful. Beautiful.
And she's a friend.
And she was a friend, like that BFF.
Well,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And she got paid. She basically was told what he wanted. He told her flat out, I'm going to pay this girl, tell her, I'm going to pay her 3,000 euro, which translates to like $6,000 American dollars. You know, I'll pay her. It'll be a 1-year contract. Just give her the whole spiel that it's going to be modeling, you know. And she did. She told me everything, but she ended up getting paid and pretty much was supposed to take me to him and throw me under the bus. So her thing was just to kind of get rid of me. And she ended up, fortunately for me, she ended up taking the money and running. But I can't give her, you know, like so much so much praise because, you know, she intended to sell me. That was the whole key. And I don't know what happened, but she ended up running away. So I ended up getting a translator, someone to come with me. And we went there thinking that this is a contract, this is a modeling job.
Contract.
Yeah, that I'm like blowing this opportunity. So I'm thinking by her running away, you're blowing my opportunity to, you know, to make it. That's what I came for. And we get there, and the guy was a little hesitant, sketchy, of course, because he didn't do the deal with my translator. He did the deal with the girl. So he kept emphasizing, I want the girl that I had. And we get there, and pretty much eventually he opened up to her. It took some time. He opened up to her, and he told her flat out, I bought her, and I have to basically find out where her head is, where her mind is, like how strong she is, and pretty much I will have to break her down. And then he would have to send me to Qatar. So that's what he was coming to do that night, was to ship me to Qatar. And from there, he said, and I quote, they have to have her first. And then I have to bring her back to France so that we can ship her. But he said, she's going to make a lot of money. Like, this is a big deal because one of the key things I try to emphasize to people, and I try to really, really push, when we go overseas, we're not black, we're not white, we are American.
Yeah.
Period. There's no American person sitting here in the States like, oh, I'll go, sex traffic me. No one's willingly, you know, putting themselves out there. So what do they have to do? They have to steal you. They have to trick you. And that's exactly what happened. So basically, I would have been a hot commodity, as absurd as that sounds, just because I was American. And basically, my translator, she defended me. She took me and she basically pulled me in the opposite direction of him. So she ended up pulling me this way and he went that way. And she would ultimately have me stay with her. I would live with her for a few days, actually for a whole month before I came back to the U.S. So she actually saved my life, my translator.
There's so many things that rush into my mind at this moment, just listening and knowing everything going out there. You could have been in a very serious trouble, as you know. You'll be dead, you'll be, and unfortunately, this is one of the main jobs that people have there, like modeling and acting. And both of my girls started this. That's when I started doing my research and not dealing with people that I just did not have the feeling. Funny thing you said, you know, we're looking to guys and we say, okay, stay away. And that's what I do as a mother, and I'm sure Fred or anyone out there, we talk about that creepy guy. Nobody talk about
people. See, I don't use guys. I look for creepy people.
That's a good thing.
She knows when she was getting started, I used to always talk to her about learning self-defense. That was one thing I've always pushed. I talk to people about it, they get bored of hearing it. It's self-defense. And then, you know, there's a couple instances too, remember, because we talk a lot. And she would tell me things. She says, well, I have to tell you this, and I won't say nothing to her. She tells it, but I won't say anything. But you know what I mean? But you can't trust everybody. Just because people smile and show money at you, you can't trust them. And you know, people call me paranoid because I don't trust a lot of people. You know, I go on your word, you know, and then if I go on your word, but your action speaks louder than words. Just because they smile in your face don't mean they won't stab you in the back. So you got to be careful all the time.
But going back to at that period, how did you feel? I mean, this is just me listening to this and knowing, and I know we talk about this, but to actually live that.
Right. I'm the face.
Scary.
I'm the face for it. Like we hear about this in the news. It like the average person, that's just a news story. It's just something you hear about. You know it's out there. You know it's bad, but you don't really have I'm a face. Like now it's like, okay, whoa, this is home because I can touch this, but I know this person. You know, like in Fred's case, like this is like you know, family to me. So at the moment that it happened, once it all kind of came out, I'm exactly like the way you would be feeling right now. Like any of our audience would be feeling like, what? You know, it literally shakes
This is
you.
real.
Yeah, it
Like,
shakes you
that
to your core.
shakes
My
me.
translator, her hands were shaking. When she finally pulled me away, we ran off like in the opposite direction so that he couldn't find us. And she literally couldn't get the words out. Like she said, I know that this happens, but I never saw it in my face like this. Like it basically, it just drives it home that this is real. We can no longer keep acting like it's just that story or that person's story,
Yeah.
those people's story, or that
Attention
city.
Internal Representative with Clean Tech, please report to your office again.
Do me a favor and lean up like you are so you can be in the light.
Say what?
Yeah,
Wait,
lean
what?
up so
Oh.
Bring
you're
the
in the
chair
light.
closer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Good.
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
You got the glow.
All right. So it's like for me, it's the same thing you just said. When I heard of this, and I mean, I was made aware of this. I'm originally from Sudan, so in the Horn of Africa, there's different countries that suffer from this. But to come here and know it exists in Pennsylvania, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and to actually meet people, and I did meet a couple of the safe housing, and to just sit down and talk to you now. When Fred sent me that small video you made, it was another eye opener for me.
It's humbling. I really can't put into words how you feel. I think you realize, one, how valuable life is. You realize as an American how valuable you are. Like I said, we're not overseas. We're not black, white. Like they're not looking at, oh, she's a black
There's no
girl, I'm gonna take her.
discrimination with
Exactly.
this, yeah.
You are American. Like that has weight.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
are willing to buy you. People are willing to sell you. People are willing. That's
And moreover, you're a woman,
You're a
and that's
woman.
the problem with this industry.
But you
That's
can be
the
a guy
fact.
too.
That's
and it
the
can happen.
facts. 54% women. 54% of the women being sold. 54% of the people are women. 17% are girls. 10% are men and boys.
Mhm.
This is huge. This is happening. This is a $32 billion corporation. This is money. Like this
Yeah.
is generating. This is big business. So it's not going away. This is something that we as people have to stop saying. Like I said, it's that other person's idea, or oh, it's over there. This is us. This is happening to our daughters. The Kanika Jenkins story recently of the girl up
Yeah.
in Chicago was found in a freezer.
In the freezer.
That right there was sex trafficking 101 right in your face, and
Yeah.
most Americans had no idea what that was. That girl was sold. There were 3 men in that room, 3 girls in that room. Why was only 1 girl assaulted? 1.
Yeah.
And they paid $200 for her. That right there was sex trafficking. The first thing they do once they get you is they drug you.
Mhm.
You are incoherent from that moment. You will never know what's going on. So when you saw her drugged, staggering in that hallway, she was trying to run. She was drugged.
Yeah.
And I think she was so disoriented, she put herself, or whatever, however, she was so disoriented, she ended up where she ended up. But that right there was sex trafficking 101. And who was it that sold her?
Her friends.
BFF.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Watch your back. It isn't just the creepy. The creepy guy is involved. He's there somewhere, but it isn't always so in your face. And I think that's what people are looking for. They're looking for that big van that's going to open up and
Yes,
grab you.
yeah.
Or they're
That's
looking for
all
that
the
guy.
school.
Yeah.
Now
And it
we have
happens.
technology, media,
Exactly.
and with the young people out there,
Mhm.
like you just mentioned this story, and the funny thing is a lot of people, a lot of young girls, including my own, they are so naive.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how much you sit down and talk to them, she will look me in the eye and say, "You are just paranoid." Plain and simple.
Exactly.
Like, no, I lived enough, I seen enough,
Exactly.
and you just need to be careful. You cannot be careful enough.
Mm.
And that's where I come in. And this is where I'm speaking to you. And I didn't ask
Mhm.
for this. I went to Paris to be a model. My whole purpose was to be on Givenchy's runway,
Yeah, yeah.
be glamorous and be some big household name by now. I didn't ask for
Oh,
this.
traffic me.
Exactly.
No.
Oh, me
Yeah.
next, please. This was not my dream,
Mhm.
but this is what was placed in front of me, and I have no choice but to teach other daughters. I have to think about people like
Mhm.
parents, who have daughters, who have people out there that, like you said, their daughters are not listening, the kids are not listening. Why? Because they don't have a face to go with
To
it.
go with, yeah.
So for
Yeah.
them, even more, it's like, oh, it's just out there.
It's a story.
It's a story.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Now you have a face. Now you have someone in your face telling you this happens, and she looks like you, she sounds like you, she's
Yes.
from your hometown. Do you know what I mean? She can relate, and she's doing something most girls like, modeling and acting.
Yeah.
It happens,
Yeah.
and it can happen to you, and that's where I'm coming in to prevent it. Just like Fred with the self-defense, how he always pushes the self-defense. You know, I'm the same thing now. You know, I'm pushing this whole, this can happen to you. And this is how it can happen. Don't look for just the weird guy, because he's not going to be in your face. It's that BFF. It's that nice, warm woman. It's a woman. It's 9 times out of 10 is a woman selling other women into this industry. And
And you know what is somebody else in your situation would have stayed home, and that's why I admire what you're doing, and that's our job. We need to be a voice.
I didn't ask for this, but
And a lot of people will say, this is a big thing, this is, I'm ashamed, or you feel different kind of emotion, and you just stay and bury it.
and I did.
Bury the whole
I
thing.
went through the
Did
whole
you?
depression, sadness, isolation. Kept to myself. Don't trust anybody. Don't trust a girl. Don't trust a guy. You know, I went through that, and it takes time to kind of weed out from that. It does. You know, you have to really
Attention! For security reasons, please maintain close
Lighting is
control
good.
of your belongings at all times. In order to prevent transporting dangerous items without your knowledge, do not accept luggage, packages, or carry-on items that do not belong to
See,
you.
that was the main thing.
Unattended baggage will be removed
Drinking,
immediately
slip something
and
in
may
your
be
drink.
damaged or destroyed.
I'm
Done.
glad you said that.
Yep.
So, how did you feel? You said you felt depressed. I mean, you're human. So,
I went through severe depression. I mean, it was just like, this happened to me. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I didn't trust anyone. I didn't go anywhere for about 2 years. It took about 3 years for me to really kind of get to this place now. Like, this isn't recent news. This happened in 2014. And now it's 2017, and I'm just now beginning to open up and say, okay, no, I don't like being this person. There is a lot of
I don't
shame.
want to be a victim.
No, heck, that will victimize me all over.
Yeah.
I am not a victim. I'm not going to be ashamed of myself. I didn't ask for this. I wasn't out there, and I like something that Fred mentioned. You know, a lot of times we also think too that it's the girl that's dressed scantily, and that is a factor. That is a big factor. I had on a business suit. I was in a business networking party. I was doing, basically, I look like Michelle Obama for the most. I mean, like, I was very, you know, suited to the T. Like, I had no pantyhose, for goodness sake. Like, you know, you're not dressing seductively in pantyhose, you know, but I say that.
But even if you were,
Right.
that is not an excuse.
It is not. But everyone just assumes that it's just that. Oh, it's the girls that are, you know, trying to be strippers. It's that too. But sometimes it can happen to a very conservative person. It can happen
Because
to a
they're
person-
naive. They're not thinking
Yeah.
like that. If you're not in that mindset, it's easy for a person to come up on you and do anything. Chloroform you, take you away. You know, you slip something in your drink when you're not paying attention. And I didn't want to cut you off there, but it's very important for people to realize that you so-called BFF, you sitting there talking to your girlfriend, and somebody drops something in your drink, and your best friend sitting there. She's planning on getting paid when the evening's over with. And you're later knocked out. Somebody put you in a van. Next thing you know, you wake up somewhere in a whole new country. You have no ID. You have no passport. You don't speak the language. You're in trouble. Who do you go to? It's a lot.
That's a harsh reality of it.
But
There's
you were
levels.
lucky,
In
if we
many
can
ways.
call it.
You're
In many
blessed.
ways, no,
You're
in many
blessed.
ways,
Blessed.
in many ways. Well, I heard the stories. There's stories of models that went over there, and they did exactly like Fred said. You know, the French, or not, I can't just say the French, but over in Europe, they're very, you know how they love Americans.
Yeah.
So when we come, they're like, oh, my American friend. You know, they try to bring them in. And there were cases after cases of stories of girls that have gone out with these guys. Oh, come out, I celebrate you. You know, we'll party. And they go out with these guys, you never see them again. There have been many models that went overseas and never came home.
Yeah.
We couldn't explain it. There was a story of a girl. She was given a job, a modeling job, and her job was to go on a yacht with all these Arab sheiks. They're gonna pay, at least in my mind. You think, okay, they're gonna have the money to pay for this. They got her on the yacht. She never came back. They raped her repeatedly until she died, and then threw her body over them. This is what's happening out there, you know. And these girls are going over in France, in London, in Paris. I'm sorry, in you know, all these other countries, you know, and they're literally trying to open up, trying to, I guess, get accustomed to their surroundings, and they're being caught up just that fast. It is like the movie Taken. It is.
Yeah.
That is an aspect of it. And what I did learn from that was in the movie Taken, the girls were kind of tourists and they grabbed them, drugged them.
And that happened too, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
an aspect.
Mhm.
There's levels. So that right there is the bottom level. That means they're just grabbing girls. They can grab any. They grab their own girls.
Mhm.
They can grab girls, just throw them in a van, drug them. You'll never see them again, and they basically repeatedly rape them until they die. The next level is pretty much where the guy was trying to send me. Like I said, being that I was an American woman,
Mhm.
you're not going to just grab an American woman every day.
Yeah.
So that they're bringing up, and he said that. He said she's going to make a lot of money.
Mhm.
They're going to want her because she's different.
Mhm.
Yep.
Because she's American. He kept emphasizing that to my translator. They're going to want her. So now that puts you in the higher level. What people don't know is that the officials are involved, meaning the police are involved. The high-ranking, like the presidents,
Mhm.
like all the senators, they're all involved. The FIFA,
Mhm.
soccer,
Mhm.
all the athletes, they're all involved. All this stuff is all in connection with this whole sex trade going on in Paris, specifically. This is big business, $32 billion.
And that's what reported to us.
Exactly.
And
That's
this
what
is
we
a
know.
cash business.
Exactly.
So there will be way more than what we expect and know,
Exactly.
unfortunately.
Exactly. So my thing is, like I said, to just educate based on what I learned, based on what I know, based on what I experienced. Just educate people and tell them, stop looking for the obvious,
Mhm.
which we think is the obvious. You know, look out for the weird guy. You know, don't talk to strangers, associating that with just a guy.
Mhm.
Be careful of your best friends.
Mhm.
Be careful who you're hanging around with. Be careful of those people that are way too nice that you don't know. Always be vigilant. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
go back to that. Trust your gut instincts. You know, learn self-defense, of course, if you
Mhm.
can. Learn how to protect yourself. Be vigilant. Pay attention at all times. At all times, because it does happen. I was floored to hear that Lancaster County is one
Yes.
of the big.
Yes,
I was
yes.
floored.
There is actually more than one safe house there. There's a lot of young female, as far as I know. I'm not familiar with any men or young boys in those housing, but it's a huge number.
There's
And they're
someone here in Harrisburg that just
Yeah.
broke up a couple months ago. It was in the papers, I think. So,
Oh yeah, that was a huge bust. We had him on the show
yeah.
with the human sex trafficking segment.
But what
But
they're doing with the girls in Lancaster, and this was
Mhm.
news to me today, they're using them when they're taking their selfies on their social media.
yeah,
And then, oh, you can be a model, or you can, first and foremost, if you're a model, you go to the agency. If they scout you in the mall, even then have your parents be aware of that.
Mhm.
Agencies are fully aware of all the sex trafficking stuff, so they
Mhm.
don't want anything associating them with a girl was, told that they were
there's
gonna be
also
scouted.
fake agencies.
That's what I
so-
mean. That's what I mean.
Scams.
So be careful with these scams. Now around here in Harrisburg, I don't know of too many that are legit. I don't know of
Mhm.
anything.
No.
You probably would have to go to a bigger city.
Yeah.
But in a typical agency, where you'll just go there. If they like your look, they'll pretty much take it from there. You get your portfolio. You get all that. You'll pay for all those
Mhm.
things. That's your typical process of things as far as becoming a model. What I'm hearing about are these girls are being scouted on the internet. People are seeing their selfies. People are telling them, oh, you could be a model, and they're baiting them in. Models, prostitutes are called models.
Mhm.
Strippers are called models.
Yeah, unfortunately now this is what the society would
Exactly.
look at it. It's a job, but they associate it with other things
Mhm.
and they try to make it
And they bait you in that way.
sound like it's your fault.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So these girls here are being baited in just off of their own vanity. Usually someone telling them, oh, you're beautiful. Or if you have a troubled home, a lot of times they try to come in and just, be that motherly aspect.
Mhm.
That's when you start getting into the BFFs. There's no man that's going to, unless he's the cute boyfriend or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But usually it's a woman that, I can be your friend. Oh, that's sad. And they try to connect with them on a level of understanding.
Mhm.
Nothing.
And also, excuse me, and also the kids with low self-esteem. And
Especially.
the quiet kids that don't hang out with nobody, don't have any friends, those are the easiest ones to pick up because they don't have friends. They don't get along with their family. It used to be a time when the families were close.
Mhm.
Now the kids off with earbuds in their ears, walking down on Facebook. These other chat sites,
Mhm.
they're on their cell phones. Well, I don't want to just pick out anybody like that, but they're on their cell phone, and that is their friend. What happens, they can be sitting right across from the table. Hi, how are you doing? You text back, I'm doing fine. nobody talks.
Yeah.
So when you have a low self-esteem, it's easier for somebody to come along and say, hey, good looking, how are you doing today? You know, I take you to McDonald's or something like that, and they're like, oh, wow.
So I had a friend, once my story came out, Daystar, a company or an organization came out to LA and they asked to tell my story. And they came out, they flew out, and they filmed it over like 2 or 3 days and actually sent my story out globally. So now this story has literally been covered all around the world. And that's really what prompted me to begin having these type of speaking engagements now because the story has gone so viral.
Viral, yeah.
I had a friend that saw the story, and actually he was a very close friend of mine. He was a photographer that I shot with him prior to moving away. And he basically came to me and he said, you know, you're very brave to admit that story. And I thought, well, thank you, that's very nice. He said, I had my own sex trafficking story. And he said, I want you to share my story, but I don't want you to share my name. I said, okay. And he said, basically, he's a photographer, and some people came up to him, approached him, some gentlemen approached him, and they said to him, we want you to shoot some models. And he said, okay, no problem, I can do that. And he said, don't speak to the models. Don't make eye contact with them. You don't interact with them at all. We're bringing the girls to you. Just shoot them. We'll tell you what we want out of them, what type of shots we want, and leave it at that. Mm-hmm. And for him, I know this is very hard for him because he's very engaging, very pleasant, very nice guy. You know, so I know that was like really, you know, a jolt for him. Mm-hmm. And he said, okay. So he came in, and the girls came, and he said none of the girls made eye contact with him. They all kind of kept their head down. The gentleman just kind of stood off in the back, and they wanted very, very over-the-top sexual, you know, just perverse type, you know, pictures. Just, I mean, grotesquely perverse pictures, you know. And he did it because he got paid, you know, for it, but he wasn't comfortable with it, you know. So he said, I didn't make any eye contact, I didn't say anything. He said within 3 days, the FBI came to him. This was a sex trafficking ring. And what they were doing is they were selling the girls. They were literally taking pictures of these girls that they had trafficked in the DC area. Mm-hmm. They got them, and they basically were taking their pictures and then posting it to put on their site, their website, to sell, you know, for sex.
For whoever, yeah.
And the FBI came, and he said since then, these people have come back and threatened his life because they knew that the FBI had been in contact with him. Yeah, and his life has been threatened. So he's been kind of trying to lay low a lot more, but he did want me to share that story. Like, this is how prominent, this is big business.
Yeah.
This is huge money.
It is. And like we said before, the problem is not just the trafficker, the person we see. The problem in this industry is making huge profit. And if you don't find the source and cut it. And this is not going to end unless man or woman stop paying for sex.
Because someone's buying it.
Yes.
Where's high demand?
That's the thing, right? There's someone that is literally buying this.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't save it all, of course, but I can at least educate, and I can at least put a face to it to say this is very real because it happened to me. And usually once I put that out there and say that, a lot of times people kind of, you know, it really kind of jars people.
Like,
yeah, like, wow, and now they're taking it seriously. Now they look at women differently, or now they look at situations differently. But just take notes, pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people around you. You know, in the case of going out, don't be stupid. You know, you just can't nowadays. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't go out and just get drunk and get wasted.
Exactly.
You can't do that. You can't anymore.
Yeah.
This is no longer that day anymore when we could all get wasted. I never was drinking, but you know, we
Yeah.
all get wasted. Just you know, you have to be careful. Who are your friends? Who are these people that are around you? The BFFs are getting
and
paid.
watch your drinks, like he said. You know, your food.
Yes.
Just, you have to. You
Everything.
have to.
Everything.
And it's not a paranoid.
Right. And it's not just happening to the girls that have no clothes on. It's happening to women that are conservatively dressed as well. There have been cases, especially in Orlando. Orlando's a huge market for it. There were women going missing left and right. Going missing left and right. And these were mothers. These were not, you know, women that were out partying. These were literally moms on their way to go pick up their children from school and just never arrived. There's a case right now where a woman, we never saw her. So this goes deeper than just the surface level. We need to stop looking at it from the surface level of the obvious. The strippers, you know, the girls that are just kind of wayward. Stop looking at that, because this is happening now to moms.
Yeah.
This is happening now to, you know, to daughters that are legitimately minding their business, business or legitimately just trying to, go about their day. This is happening everywhere.
It doesn't matter how you're dressed. It doesn't matter how you look like. It's your choice. I want to dress like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but if that's your choice, no one else is supposed to treat you any kind of way without your permission.
Exactly right.
Right.
Not even come and talk to you
Right.
without saying. And I think if we can stress that enough in the community, understand that this is my personal space.
Yes.
I wear whatever I want to, or do what, but that does not give you an okay. It doesn't give you a welcome
Right.
to come and do whatever.
And that's where I teach it. Because when you say no, no means now. No don't mean 5 minutes, a half hour, 2 days, a week from now. No means no. And I always try to, when I do women's self-defense seminars, there's a universal language out there that everybody understands. I don't care what language, it's pain. You come to grab me, put your hands on. If I grab her, she says no. Well, she come here and digs in my eyes and gets away, because you already told me no. So when I make an advancement for you, you got to stop it. You got to stop the threat and get away. You don't want me getting my arms all the way around you. Now you got to fight. When I get into your space, back up. They get closer. When they go to put their hands on, when they grab you, oh, wait, grab, just reach up here and just grab an eye, scratch. When he goes down, you kick, wherever you got to do, get away. And the main thing is make sure you know what the person looks like, so you can let law enforcement know about it. DNA, scratch, keep it in your fingernails. You can give law enforcement description. You scratch him on the right side of his face, I scratch him on the face, I have his skin in my nail, they can take the culture out. You got to cover yourself. You got to make sure you take pictures, send them home, because you don't know who's in the crowd.
Yeah.
But there might be somebody in there that if something happens, somebody can pick somebody up. Well, this guy is known doing human trafficking. That might be a lucky break. You see what I mean? So these young kids, I don't even know how to get to the cloud. I got a smartphone. But these young kids know, so when you're out, just take pictures. You know what I mean? And send them home. That is the main thing. Email them home or whatever you're going to do. Cover yourself. When you go out with somebody, make sure they know where you're going.
Be
Yeah.
accountable.
That's
Yes.
exactly
Yeah.
right. And look at, if somebody's picked you up in a car, you're going to take a picture of the license plate number. Take a picture of the person's face, there's friends with him. And a lot of times, it can be a bump when when you're sitting there at the car and somebody bumps into you. Well, you get out, they can take you then. Like I told my wife, if she ever gets caught in a situation, drive up on the curb. Get away. Never pull right up on the back of somebody. I mean, it could happen to anybody. We're here at the airport. You can walk in the bathroom. Something can happen. They can drug you, then you walking out, you stumbling, they got you like this here. Hey, it's my friend. Okay, buddy. Anything can happen. Be prepared for the unexpected.
And I think the most important part is to follow your guts, like you said.
That's it.
This is the main thing, right?
Something doesn't feel right.
Don't
Something
feel right?
definitely does not feel right. When I had the chance to speak with the police, the French police, they wanted me to go through a database of this man. And they said, what we're going to do is we're going to have you look at all of the most violent sex offenders in Paris, France. It was pages after pages, like at least 100 pages of sex offenders. And he literally made me go 1, 2, 3, like page after page. Page 40, this man's face came up as one of the top sex offenders in Paris, France. Selling goods. This is big business. This man is big. There are a lot of times they've been repeat
And what,
offenders.
like they can't find something on him to cut this business down?
Well, one key thing that people need to understand, and a lot of Americans, when I say this, they kind of look at me like, no. Paris needs this kind of money. What people don't understand is that France is a poor country.
Yeah.
They're poor. So really they need this kind of money. They're not making it on tourism. They're not making it, and they're selling their perfumes or things that we assume. They're making it this way. They're sex trafficking. this is how they're doing. So they're not going to arrest this guy. They're not going to come after him full force. They're basically going to keep him in the database so they know who's doing it.
Yeah.
And that was it. When I identified this man, the police literally said, "Are you sure?" Versus, "Thank you." Are you sure? Was his response. I said, "Yeah, I remember his face. I'll never forget the way this man looked." Are you sure? 4 times he asked me that same
So
question.
we actually victimize you again.
Again, he did not want me to identify this man because this guy is making millions of dollars for him. Apparently, he's making him a lot of money. To be on page 40 of
Yeah.
hundreds of So this is huge business. So a lot of times they don't want to capture these people or stop them necessarily. They're just fully aware of who they are in many cases. A lot of these people are repeat offenders. They've done this before. They've been doing it. So their name is probably already in. So I like what Fred was saying about get the DNA if you do. If you find yourself in the Facebook. Definitely find out who they are. Pay attention to what they look like. Pay attention to your surroundings. Know the people you're with. Just be aware. I can't emphasize that enough. It's not to make anyone paranoid.
Yeah.
We live in a different day and time where this is our reality.
This is the norm now.
This is the norm.
It shouldn't be the norm, but it
It
is.
shouldn't, but it is,
Yeah.
and we have to. We can't dig our head in the sand
We
and
can't act like
expect.
it
Yeah, we
not
can't
anymore.
act like it
Doesn't
didn't exist.
exist. Not
So
anymore.
awareness is the key to beating this here epidemic of the creeps out there because they come from the low-level street thug to the high-level corporate guy. It's somebody pulling the strings. Because, just like the things happen around, we see the little people getting caught. We don't see the big people that they work for, who they take you selling these people to. That's
That's
these
what we
things.
said earlier. You need to find the source.
The source. Cut the head of
And
the
there is
snake off.
demand,
Then you'll
right?
be all right. Yes.
Someone's
and
buying it.
Someone is
Someone's
buying.
endorsing it. Yeah.
So in order for this to all go away,
But you
we
need a
need to find
distributor.
the source.
But you need a distributor. So if somebody wants it and somebody has to go out and get it, they got to take it. There's not just like from here to here. There's
Yeah,
different
there
levels.
is middle
Right.
men
So-
and women.
And it takes money to make this happen. You see what I mean? It's just like somebody goes out right now to steal a car. Well, it's not going to do no good. They're going to get caught. What they do, take it to a chop shop, and they chop it up and sell the parts. The same with a person. I mean, I hate to go my mind goes way out there, but human trafficking is just a part of it because now they're getting into selling organs.
Yes, this is a huge issue. That's what
Oh,
we're
my
going to talk
gosh.
about soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it-
it's always been
Yes.
a huge issue in the Middle East and in Africa, and it's
Because a lot of people they're not accounted for.
It's here,
Nobody
too.
miss them. And even if they do miss them, well, they and just my opinion. Sometimes they don't tell you, well, that person died of natural causes.
Right.
Wait a minute. There's a lot of times, there's more things. I was in the military. I know how you can sugarcoat some stuff.
Yeah.
Things happen, but they don't want to, what they say, they don't want to get the public afraid. Tell us the truth.
You have to.
Tell the truth. If you're a crook, you're a crook. If you stink, you stink.
Yeah.
If you're clean, you're clean.
And that's why I really applaud you for everything that you're doing, because raising awareness and educating about not just this issue. I mean, you're covering the whole thing. You're covering this and the Madeline. There is a lot of actors. There's a lot of young people out there who are still pursuing this, and it is a job. So we can't be afraid of pursuing our dreams, but we just need to be careful. So
Yes.
what would you advise any aspiring actor or their parents?
Be smart. Remember that this is a business first. A lot of parents have no idea because don't think just because you're so beautiful or you're so talented. There's tons of beautiful, talented people everywhere. They're everywhere. Remember that. Remember the fact that this is a business. They are here to make money off of you. At the end of the day, if something were to happen to you, this is a case in point. You can see this all the time in movies. If something were to happen to you, guess what? Whatever they're doing is going to continue to move forward. You will be pushed to the back, and they'll just keep going on to the next thing. It's a business.
Yeah.
They're making money off of you. Still be smart. Keep your wits about you. At the end of the day, you want to be able to make money and benefit from it, not lose your life from it or in it. You want to be able to come back and have a story to tell or, memories of what you've done. You definitely don't want to die, but you see it all the time. Where people, I've seen more recently, some of the stunt people have died.
Yeah.
What was the first thing they did? They kept shooting. The
and
movie
get
kept
somebody
going.
else to replace them.
Yeah, the movie kept going.
Yeah,
It's a business.
yeah.
Yeah.
Period. Drive that home. And a lot of parents don't think, oh, I'm so beautiful. It's not that. You're not so beautiful. There's tons of beautiful people out there. There's tons of gorgeous girls and great hair and great bodies. They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, they'll create it.
Now,
They'll make
get
it.
back to what you said. What could they do now? Are parents allowed to go with them, like for young kids when they're modeling? Would that be a plus if the parents went along with them?
They're going to try and encourage you not to do it. They're going to try and emphasize, well, you know, we can do this. I think when the parents stay involved, the child stays grounded.
Yes.
When the parents give trust to these agents or these, you know, companies to trust their children,
That's the key
when,
point.
right?
Yes.
That's when the children start getting into some drama. You don't know why, and some of these people are pedophiles. You don't know this.
Yes.
You don't know these people. Why on earth would I trust my child to a total stranger just because they're going to put them on TV?
Yes.
You don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They get very close. Stay with your kids. Stay with your children. I tell girls all the time. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna model." How old are you? "Oh, I'm 17." Wait till you're 18. Wait till you graduate from high school. Wait till you're in college. You know, you don't have to do it in your high school years. You're still young enough at 18 that you can still have a very lucrative career.
Mm-hmm.
And just parents, just be smart. They're your kids. They're your kids. They're not the industry's kids. They're not, you know, your agents' kids. They're yours.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, yes, ask the questions. Yes, be vigilant. Be there. You know, if you don't feel comfortable with something, stand there. Say something. You know, this is your daughter.
Yeah.
You need me. You know, and they get a little weary. They don't like that. They get a very leery is what I'm looking for. They don't like it. They prefer you to kind of stay in the back. Don't leave. Don't ever leave. Stay right there with your child. There's a woman right now. Her child is becoming a huge Hollywood star.
Mm-hmm.
You will never see these two separated. And wherever he is, she's always standing somewhere very close by. And I applaud her for doing
Yes,
that.
that's good.
She refuses to leave. She refuses to leave. And I'm sure they've tried to, oh,
Yeah.
well, you don't have to come to set today. You don't go to set anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, TSA regulations require that baggage must be supervised at all
And they didn't want
times.
to see, I said, look,
Any
me and my instructor
unattended
was
baggage
gone.
will be
She'd have been
subject to
one of the best
confiscation.
cared for person
Any unattended
there.
baggage should
And
be
you know what?
reported
She didn't go. They
immediately
didn't want us
to
to.
an
She
airline
didn't go.
representative or law
That's,
enforcement
yeah, something's
officer.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Thank
trust
you.
people like that.
No, not to your children.
So she follows.
She's everywhere. Wherever this child is, she is. And it makes perfect sense. It's brilliant. You have, this is a child. And there are Hollywood moms. There are, you know, I don't know the proper
Yeah.
term, but you know, the ones that are just,
Hollywood moms,
they're
yeah.
living vicariously through their children. I'm not talking about that because that gets a little extreme too.
Mhm.
This is your child. At the end of the day, make sure you are there. Make sure you read the contracts. Make sure you are fully aware who is handling your child. Where is your child going? Even if they're teenagers, same thing. Be on top of this. Don't just let them go off to another country without you. Go with them.
Yes.
Tyra Banks' mom used to go with her
Mm-hmm.
to Italy. And there was one time she
The
couldn't go.
TSA has limited the items
My
that
God,
may be carried
TSA.
through
was
screening
twice.
checkpoints.
Yeah, that was like.
Passengers should contact their air carrier for further information.
Because part of the business, they want them to be young. Why? They're not going to question.
Naive.
Yeah. You and I will ask questions. Well, how come this? Well, what is this? Well, why, you know, they're not, kids aren't going to ask. They're so fascinated. You can put $200 in front of them, and that's a lot of money.
And a
you know,
Happy Meal.
to them, right. That's, but realistically, right, you can, give them $1,000, and oh my
Yeah,
God, they hit the
yeah.
jackpot. You know, we ask questions we want to know. Be aware, these are your kids at the end of the day. Always ask questions. Do not leave them in the hands of these people. This is not school. Where in school they have to be regulated and have to be watched, and they know not to touch, you know,
Yeah.
your kids. For the most, you know, you send your kid to school, they're going to come home. Don't think like that in terms of this business. It is a business first, and what they're going to do is make their money off of your child first. Your child means nothing. What they can make off of your child is everything, and a lot of people don't understand that.
And with that in mind, you are a very strong woman, and I admire you. I can't say that enough. And on top of that, you are, like I said, trying to educate. But there's a lot of people out there, not just victims or survivors of trafficking. And like I said, it's not just the sex trafficking. There's the labor. I mean, there's so many umbrellas. But there's also domestic violence survivors and all of the above. How did you keep yourself well put?
But in all of this,
And I mean, you spoke about the part where you went through the hard times. I mean, this will help somebody out there to know it's normal to cry, to feel sad, and to get depressed. But at the end of the day, You gotta shake all that and find who you are and try to regain. Like take your life over.
I
To
get
me,
you.
you took your life over.
I get you. Thank
And
you.
it doesn't matter if it did happen or not.
Right.
It was there. You were that close.
Right. I actually went home.
Mhm.
I went back. After that happened, I came back to the U.S.
Mhm.
and everything in me was like terrified. I was scared to walk outside. I was scared for everything. And the whole time I was there, I knew I never finished what I went to Paris to do to begin with. And I got offered a job to go back for Paris Fashion Week. I was booked to go to the show. Terrified to go back to this place. But I had to remember in the course of this, Emma, the girl was the name of the
Mhm.
girl, she didn't make my dream for me. She didn't create this, and so she did not have the power to take this from me based on what she did. So I went back anyway
Mhm.
to finish what I started, because this was my dream at the end of the day.
Mhm.
This is my life at the end of the day, you know. And it's terrifying what happens to us. It's terrifying when things come against us like this. But at the end of the day, I am the one that lives out my dream. So what am I going to do? Am I going to sit here and feel sorry for myself the rest of my life? No. Allow yourself time to breathe. Allow yourself time to cry. Get it out of your system. Be afraid. But at some point, just like they say, when you get knocked off something, get back up and do it again. You know, go back out there. Just use your wisdom now.
Mhm.
When you go back out there, I refuse to allow this circumstance, this man, this girl, whoever else was involved, dictate to me whether I was going to make it or not in this industry. And I went back, and actually it was 10 times greater, because by then people in France had heard about my story and they knew what happened. So now that made them even more interested. Who was this girl? And I mean, I went to places and did things I never imagined I was going to do. I went above and beyond my dream of even being in France. You know, I just wanted to be on the runway. Honestly, I just wanted to be there. Here I'm on the runway, I'm in magazines, you know. Now I have friends, now people know me, like they're still calling me to come back, you know. Do it again, we have something else for you, we have more work for you. I never anticipated this tragedy to literally catapult my career so much higher and further, but it would have never happened if I wouldn't have jumped back in and took that chance and did it again.
Looking at the glass half full.
Exactly. In any situation, don't allow that situation to dictate to you how far you can go. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be someone. If not her, there would have been something else, I'm sure. In life, there's always going to be some sort of block.
Obstacle.
Yeah, obstacle trying to tell you this is as far as you go. You know, this is as far as you can, this is what you can do, and that's it, no more. And you have to believe in yourself enough, and I know this sounds cliche and I don't mean it to, but you have to believe in yourself enough to say, you know what, no, I believe there's something past that barrier, and I'm going to go past it. And you're just going to have to try and stop me because I'm going. And I don't mean that cliche. You have
No,
to
it's not.
You have
No,
to
it
tell
is
yourself
not,
that.
yeah.
And you will have to probably tell yourself that a lot. And you may have to do things afraid. You may have to do things terrified. You may have to do things knowing, you know, in your heart you really don't want to. But keep going anyway. That's my biggest advice. Keep going.
Pursue your
Keep
dream.
going.
That's right.
Keep going. If there's a memo out there saying you can't, don't get it. Keep going. I didn't get that memo. You don't tell me I'm done when I'm done. When he
Yeah.
says, you know, that's
Yeah.
when I'm done, and I'll leave it alone. And I know when it's over, you know, I'll sit down and bow down gracefully.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. So until that day comes, nothing is going to stand in my way. And you have to have that belief in yourself. You have to tell yourself that every day, because something is always going to come against your dream, your belief, and just your hopes of getting anywhere you're trying to get to. You can't let it stop you.
And the main thing that you're not that person, you're not me, you're you. You live for you.
Exactly.
And other people try to dictate, oh,
Exactly.
no, don't do this here. Only way you're going to get to the top is climb the ladder. And you done good, my friend. You've been climbing that ladder. Every time I see you climbing that ladder, girl.
And she's gonna continue.
Yes, she will.
And that's my motto. Do not let whatever happens to you dictate. And you will hear that, you will read that all over my page. We are not victim of our circumstances. It's what we allow it to be.
Yes.
You can just sit
Exactly.
there, and then I kept saying, and I'm going to talk about that. I talked about that a lot, about my case, domestic violence, and all of that. If I allowed it to dictate who I want to be
Exactly.
and how to live my life, then where would I be now?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it's a choice at the end of the day, and it's hard for some more than the others, and that's why we are lucky to have someone like you and someone like Fred who are reminding us that to stay grounded and to keep pushing.
Yep.
It's not gonna
Never
be easy.
give up.
It's not gonna be easy.
Mhm.
And anyone who tells you that, they've never done it.
Mhm.
It's gonna be hard. But that should never, ever stop you. Keep pushing. Keep fighting. Keep going. Keep doing it. No matter what. You get knocked down, keep getting up, try again. Get knocked down, keep trying again. At the end of that is a reward that you'll never expect. Case in point, the Paris thing. I
Yeah.
never expected the success, the act. I never expected what I got out of this. Never. I'm like it's like my own celebrity over there. You know, I never anticipated that.
Everything that happened to you, or happened to us for that matter, it makes us who we are. You are a complete package, a complete human. We're not just talking about your experience, the bad and the good that we see now. Want to know what's after. What is Lori's life right now? After, now, and before.
Well, I was strictly a model at the time of all of this, and now I've moved out to Los Angeles, California. I'm a professional actor. I'm a SAG actress. So I've been doing movies and TV shows. I have a few things coming out. I just did my first speaking role on Grey's Anatomy,
Oh,
where I
wow.
played a doctor.
I guess I gotta watch it. I never watched it before. I guess I'll watch it
It came
now.
on Thursday, this past Thursday, and
Okay.
just you keep moving forward. You know, I hate to keep sounding like I'm saying the same thing, but it's true. You just keep moving forward.
No,
You
That's
set-
stress
life.
that.
That's
Yeah,
life. Yes.
you make a goal for yourself and you knock out that goal. Now what? Now I have to make up new goals because I've lived everything I said I was going to do.
Mhm.
Everything I told people or even myself that I was going to do, I've literally done. And then some went back, got the shirt, and came back and did it again. And now it's like, okay, I have to create now new dreams because I've done everything I said I was going to do. I've met every person I said I was going to meet. I went everywhere I said I was going to go. Now it's time to create new dreams.
Sit down and recuperate.
Sit down and do it all over
And we
again.
do it all over again.
But this time when I go, I have a wisdom. I have at least a lot more strength. I understand. I know what's out there. I understand that there's going to be some obstacles. I understand things are going to come against you when you make that focused decision that this is what I'm going to do. Okay, expect all kinds of stuff to start trying to come in as a barrier against that. But what do you do in spite of that? You keep moving. There may not be money sometimes, but you know what? Do it anyway. Try it without money. You know, do what you can with what you have. Use what you have. I come from Harrisburg. I lived in Harrisburg. We never had any money. We were very poor as a family. So even just the fact that I'm doing any of what I'm doing is an attestament. It's a testament. right
Testament
there.
for
Yeah.
your strength.
Yeah, it's a testament right there. I didn't do it because I had so much money to do it. I didn't do it because I had so much educational background to do it. I didn't do it because I was so strong. I did it because I just really believed in my heart that I could.
And you didn't give up. Never gave up.
Keep going. Set those goals for yourself. Set those dreams for yourself, and then go get them. And if those dreams scare you, that's even more proof you need to be doing. That's even more proof that's where you need to be. It should scare you because if it were all attainable, if it were so easy, we'd all be doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'd all be doing it. Or you could just plow right through it, and it wouldn't mean what it means. So for me right now, what I've accomplished showed me who I am.
Mhm.
I was always afraid. I can't sit here and act like I'm so strong. I was terrified. I was scared. You know, rightfully so. I hear how I think, and
Yeah.
what I have that internal dialogue. I get that. People don't know that, but it's taught me that I can still move forward, even in the face of sheer adversity.
Mhm.
You know, even my life being threatened, but I can keep going. Just keep. I can't emphasize that enough. Keep going.
And that shows that it shows you your strengths. And once you cross that point,
Yes.
there is no way that you're going to
No
return.
one can ever take that.
Nothing can take that away from you, and nothing is going to intimidate you.
There it is.
That's the
There
whole
it is.
thing.
There it is.
It's that's why you have that,
Thank you.
glow. You know yourself. You're aware of your self-worth, and you know what you can and cannot do. And cannot do doesn't exist.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I love you, girl. No, seriously, this is refreshing. You know, it's easy to sit down and hear and read, but like you said, to have a life proof
Right
that
in your face.
your circumstances does not dictate who you are and who you're going to be.
Or how far you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Or how far you can go. You can do anything you put your mind to. And these all sound like the cliche stuff that you, but they're true. They're true. You can do anything. You are going to limit you. You are going to dictate how far you go.
That's
You
true.
decide that.
Yep.
No one can really stop you. They're going to try, but no one can stop that but you. If you decide in your heart, this is as far as it, then that's how far it's going to be. And
It's
don't be
all up here,
surprised. It
right?
is all
Yep.
in your
Yeah.
head. It is all in your head. Keep going.
The limitation does not actually exist. We make them.
Limitations on ourselves.
We limit ourselves.
Mhm.
We limit ourselves. Never allow that to happen, because now you're victimizing yourself. Now you've made yourself a victim.
And that's how we all are. We all had obstacles in our lives. But that's why we're all sitting here at this table, because we refuse to say,
Right.
no, I can't do it.
That's right.
I'm going to do it. No matter what happens, something goes wrong here, you go another route.
That's right.
We're in the military. If I can't get around it, I'm going through it. And that's the only way it works.
Exactly.
Either I'm going to get there one way or another.
Moreover, that you have or we have a very rich experience, very rich story to tell.
Yes.
And you're not just keeping it bottled up.
Right.
You want to share it in an effort to help someone out there.
Yes.
And that's what the whole purpose of
Yes. And it's a lot
your
of young
life,
girls.
his life, and
Yeah.
my life.
And
Yes.
especially coming from Harrisburg, where there isn't a lot of, like in Hollywood, there's celebrities everywhere. There's
Yeah.
media everywhere. It's inspiration all over the place. Like all you have to do is walk down the street, and you're like, you know what? I want to be just like that.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have that in Harrisburg. We still have that mindset from what I can remember that it happens out there. It
Yeah,
happens in
yeah.
Philly.
Yeah.
It happens in DC. It happens in New York. It
Doesn't
doesn't
happen
happen in
here.
Harrisburg.
Here, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm living proof it happens here too.
Mm.
Because this is where I started. I started right here in Harrisburg, and I was doing just little commercials, just little jobs here, whatever I could jump into, whatever I could do, and that snowballed into other places, and I started branching out, and I literally just kept getting to where I went overseas. Start here, start where you are, start with what you have, and then build on that, and just keep going, just keep going. But
And
it is
all our
possible.
kids need a role model, and we all need, like you
Yeah.
said, someone to look up to. And you are that for them over there and for our kids here in Harrisburg. So we're glad you're back.
And that makes it, and that's right, because a lot, like she was just saying, people think you gotta go somewhere else to make it. Start here, because you get the experience to get you wiser before you get out there.
That's true.
And that's what happens. Your wiseness came from here to here to here, on the other side of the pond, and coming back. Now you have a wealth of knowledge that you can tell every young girl, every person, every model out there. Everybody want to be something. When you turn on the TV, I want to do that. I got to go to LA. I got to go to New York.
Right.
You got the knowledge to tell them know what the real deal is. And you can, just tell your story. You can tell them, well, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. None of us would get nowhere
That's right.
if we thought we knew everything.
Mhm.
Your experience is very valuable because we don't hear people talking about it. Nobody talks about it. When you told me about it, and I told her, and I said, "Oh, Lori, you gotta come." And I told her, she said, "You gotta get her here." And I'm like, "Oh, Lori, you gotta talk to
And
her."
I saw that short you did. He sent it to me and he said you need to have her on the show.
Thank you.
And as soon as I looked into that, I wanted to get in touch with you, and I'm glad. I was looking on my Facebook yesterday and I saw the
She
picture
told
in the
me.
East Mall. And I called him right away. I said, she's here.
And I'm
We
like,
have
"What?"
to find her. We have to find a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is refreshing, like I said, and I cannot say that enough. It's just something that we need. And especially now because it's not getting better.
Exactly.
Right.
It is not
Exactly.
getting better.
There's so much more to life. There's more. Harrisburg, in my opinion, is like this in the barriers of my arms. And hopefully this illustration hits home. You see, just like there's more of a table out there,
Mhm.
that's the rest of life.
Yeah.
There's so much more than just what's in the barriers of my
So
arms.
we just go so far and then
Right.
we stop.
This is
And
Harrisburg.
they're afraid to look out what's on the other
There's
side.
so much more life
Yes.
out there. Look how much table there is. There's
Yeah.
so much more life. That is the exact illustration that I want to give. There's so much more out there than what you see, what you know right here.
Mhm.
And I'm living proof that it can happen to you. It happened to me. And it
Yeah.
started here. I mean, I'm driving through these streets for the first time in 10 years, and I'm remembering
Looks
everything.
different,
How
don't it?
did you
Oh,
feel?
I'm like, it's so small. These streets are
10
so
years.
The streets are so tiny. Like
Yeah.
I remember like
They
streets
used
that
to
I thought
be
were
big.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
these were like blocks to me. They were like
The
acres.
perspective.
Yeah, now I'm like that's like
Perspective
2
change.
steps.
Yeah.
You know, like, everything is so little now. But I remembered as I was driving, I purposely drove through the city, like I would just anywhere. And I remember being here when I was this age. I remember this happening here, and I remember going shopping, just kind of doing my everyday life, and just the person I was, and never. I knew I had a dream in my heart, but never imagining I would go as far as I went. You know, it was refreshing to come back home and to see where I started from. You know. And just it inspired me all over again. Like, you know, this is home. This is where you started. This is where it all began. Just so small. It's almost unbelievable because you're almost like, well, how did I get out of here?
How did I get out of this? Sometimes you need to ground yourself, right? So this is basically grounding you. Yep, you're back. This
like,
is
that
where
should have
it
never
began.
happened. Like it almost could be considered impossible.
Yeah.
An impossible situation. You know, so. Anything is possible. It can happen. Set your goals. Put your mind to it. It's going to happen, but you will have to keep going. It's not going to just be handed to you. Please learn that. It's not going to be easy. Please learn that. You will have to fight for something. You will have to fight for what you believe. You have to even fight sometimes yourself to keep going, to keep believing, because you're going to get no. You're going to get absolutely, you know, just ridiculous responses sometimes that are just going to make you even question, why are you even doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
You know, that's okay. We've all been there, especially those who have made it. Keep going.
And when you think it would help doing it with a clear mind, when you get out there with alcohol and drugs, it obscures your thinking. You make dumb decisions, and sometimes it could be life-threatening decisions.
It slows you down.
Yeah, and it could cost you your life. But when you can think, that's the most powerful thing you got is your brain. So you know, as far as talking to the young kids on saying no to drugs, because I'm always pushing that. No drugs, no alcohol. Keep a clear brain. Keep your mind clear where you can think.
Right.
And that would be something the young kids need to know. Because right now they see all these videos where everybody's doing drugs and they think it's cool. And like I tell these young guys, these young kids, I don't give a crap about no bling bling. I got a job. You you got a job, you can get anything you want. So you keep a clear mind. But when you let other things infiltrate your brain, your way of thought, then you get screwed up, because then somebody come tell you, well, I can get you $5 and just to do this here, when you can go out and make $1,000 doing something legit.
Sure.
And then when you do it legit, nobody's knocking on your door to take it from you.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So, these young kids need a wake-up call on what's real and what's phony.
Well, I'm glad you say that. One of the key things that is phony is these are actors, these are entertainers. So a lot of them aren't even living that same lifestyle that what you see in these videos. They're not, and I've seen it firsthand. I've done music videos with some of the biggest names, literally in the video with them, and I saw where they handed out a tray of, jewelry and whatever they had them wear, and then literally take it back at the end of the video.
Yeah.
Thank you, we need that back. You're done now.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not real. It's literally meant to make you. Yeah, it's meant to sell the song. Really, it's not what they're really doing or living. But the other thing too, if you are into drugs, think of the money that you could be spending towards your career, sharpening yourself, bettering yourself, taking classes, learning whatever, enhancing your craft, because there are people out there day and night, and I know this firsthand in Hollywood, there are people out there day and night who this is all they do. They're focused, like they're in every class, they're in everything that's sharpening who they are. So when they get to these auditions, they are no joke in front of this. You know what I mean? So if you basically, half do something like that, it's gonna translate that way. So I try to tell people, instead of focusing your money on drugs or even shopping or things like that, focus on your craft, sharpen your skills, make yourself a beast to the point where they have to have you. One of the biggest accomplishments was the biggest supermodel in the world, Iman. The biggest supermodel in the world came to me, and she said to me, "You are my favorite." Me. Lori from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, is her favorite model.
You're my favorite now.
She helped.
She's
You are
big
my
time,
favorite.
yes.
She's the biggest it gets.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come by me, goofing off and having it, and taking things lightly. I tell you seriously, I was nose to the grind, day in, day out, and maybe you don't have to have my work ethic, but you will have to fight. You will have to sharpen yourself. And I tell you what, people, my haters. There's no such thing as haters when you're focused. I'm gonna tell you why. If you're focused, it's like tunnel vision. You're like this. So if my hands are like this, I can't even see your face right now, or Fred's. I can't. Why? I'm focused, deadlocked on where I'm going. Don't worry about those people that are haters. They're going to be there when you leave there. They're going to be there wherever you're going next. They're going to be, when you finish and accomplish something, there's going to be somebody. Don't worry about that. Your focus is, what do I need to do to sharpen, to tighten myself up, and to be on top of that. And even then, once you make it, you still will always have to keep sharpening and honing in on what it is you do. This will never end until you stop. Never. But if Lori Livingston from South 13th Street, Harrisburg, and that was the worst of the worst part of the city, at least when I lived there, the worst of the worst part, if I can come out of that with a single parent mother who was on drugs, who did nothing, she had no money to take care of us. I had no role model. I had nobody to sit there and look at me and I could say, I want to be that. What I was saying was absurd. When I would say it, people would be like, oh, there ain't nobody, you ain't gonna make it on TV, you know what I mean? I was living the impossible. If I can do it, anyone in this city can do it, and do it bigger.
And we didn't touch on that, your childhood, or I know it's a lot, but can you just take us back to that? And because you achieved something, and you came out of not just one obstacle, but I'm sure a lot. Even growing up, the family, I'm a single parent myself, and I know how hard it is, but I'm trying to do whatever I can for my kids now. But I know there's a lot that they have an absentee mother, or they have unfortunate circumstances, and we don't know why she got this, because of abuse. It could be for many reasons, and I'm sure there's a lot more into Lori's story. And when you come back next time, we're going to have a long talk. But for now, a lot of people out there who's living what you just talked about, or who's going through a lot, what can you say to them?
I'm the impossible story. I'm literally the woman that I was already married, had my son, and was trying to step into a modeling career and everything. I went the opposite. So by the time that I should have been kind of done bowing down and coming out of it, I was going full force into it. That makes it even more to the fact that you have to believe in yourself. Because people were looking at me like I was crazy, like, wait, you're how old? And you want to, what? Don't get the memo. Don't buy into what society says is the box. Don't put yourself in that box. Don't ever put yourself, and don't let anyone else put you there. But I think one of the biggest battles is we have to keep ourselves out of that box too. Because society's always going to say, well, at this age you should be doing this, and if you're a single parent mom, you should be doing that, and if you're married, oh, heaven forbid you do that. So don't let people define who and what and how you're going to do it. Sometimes that's the only time you have to do it. Sometimes it's now or never, and now might be when you're in your 30s. Now might be when you really don't have any money, but you got this, enough to kind of get something started. You don't know when now is going to be. The time isn't always going to be perfect. Everything isn't always going to be the right time. Everything is just laid out just perfect. And you're just waiting for you to just gracefully, birds and butterflies floating around. You're just gracefully going through it. That's not going to always be the case. Usually, the time to start is when it seems like it's the most impossible.
As a single mother, and as a mother to a handsome young man, how did that all play?
It was not easy. Just the long hours, gone a lot. I feel my heart breaks for him because he had to grow up in Hollywood, so to say. He had to grow up in the business where I was always gone somewhere. I was always on the road. I was always headed somewhere. I had to make the sacrifices to go out to make the money for
you.
I had to. And I had to rely on family members, my mom, certainly his father. I had to rely on other people to help me to bring this to pass. So it definitely wasn't just me on my own. And you're going to make some sacrifices. You are. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be fun. The kids are, there are always going to be pros and cons, give and take. You're going to have to, but you keep moving forward because at the end goal is to make a better life for you and your family, your children.
Did that make you feel more paranoid than the normal with your son? You were talking to him a lot? Did he, felt like, okay, Mom, calm down?
I feel like right now he's kind of understanding it, but at the same time, my heart still breaks because, I went full force into this career. I focused and I did everything to make it, to do everything I'm trying to do right now. And at the end of the day, your family is more important.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, when you make your success, when you get to that aspired, you know, that desired area of life that you're trying to get to, it means absolutely nothing if your family isn't right there with you.
Yeah.
It means nothing. So keep that also in perspective as you're fighting this battle. You know, don't ever give it so much of your time, your attention, and your focus that you forget what's really going to be important at the end of the day, and that's going to be your son, your daughter, your husband, wife, you know, people that are in your life.
Family.
Your family. That's going. Those are the more important.
Well, I wish if we have more time. I know you're heading back home, your second home,
Back to LA.
and I'm just glad that we were able to connect with you and sit down and have this talk, and I'm sure we're going to do it again at some point. So thank you very much for coming and talking to me, and we will do it again, for sure.
Yes.
We cannot give you everything out there, but we want you, when you go home, to look around you and try to find the problem and be a solution. Thank you very much, Lori. Thank you, Fred,
You're welcome.
and see you next week.